Welcome to Big Blue's Adventures. Today we'll continue speaking about the ski trip January-February 2024. Red Mountain. Red Mountain builds itself as an expansive resort with a lot of challenging and very challenging terrain. Unfortunately, when we were there, the snow that had been quoted on the website was far lower than reality. They had been quoting around a metre of base depth, but in some places only 10 or 20 centimetres, which was very disappointing. The run quality and challenging was definitely there. We could see that in a good snow year that it would be an excellent resort. But those years are not necessarily happen as often as we would like. The town adjacent to Red Mountain, Roseland, quite a variety of restaurants, some hotels of good quality. However, the base village around the resort is quite new and is starting to spoil the resort a bit. The resort is built for small local visitors and maybe some from the surrounding state of BC, but not necessarily wanting to be a destination resort. The people at Red were very friendly and always helpful. For that and the quality of the accommodation and the food that we had, I would give it a 6.5. What drops most of the marks is the fact that the lack of snow, access to Red is quite difficult. Many hours from Spokane, Washington, or many more hours from other airports like Kelowna in Canada. Moving on, after that I went to Salt Lake City and skied at Brighton, at Solitude and Snowbird. I found Brighton to be just as good as it was when I visited about 7 or 8 years ago, and actually parts of it were better than I had remembered. Solitude, again, was a very interesting resort with lots of easy, difficult and very difficult runs, especially off the backside. I would rate these in terms of the people, again, really quite highly. I would say that the overall, for the price of things, the food quality and access to the mountain, I would give it a 6.5. What drops marks is the fact that there's really crowded buses, sometimes having to wait hours to get up and hours to get down, especially on Saturday or Sunday, which I didn't even attempt to go to some of the resorts like Snowbird that weekend. I found overall it's worth it, but you need to be under no illusion that you will be waiting a lot to get up to the resort. But when you're at the resort, the lines are quite manageable and you can get a whole day of skiing very easily without feeling that you've had to wait too much. When it comes to Snowbird was pretty disappointing. Yes, it was a big area, there was lots of different variety, but it was really crowded, even on a weekday. So crowded in the fact that I'm like, I have no desire to go back to Snowbird, which for me is crazy because I love skiing, but no, Snowbird is far too busy. Even with this planned multi-billion cable car from Salt Lake up to Snowbird and Alta for the next Olympics, even that would just destroy the landscape and ruin the beauty of the canyon. So overall, I'm going to give it a 5.5, due to the fact that access okay, facilities good but really expensive, and transport to the mountain awful, with awful queues. Leading on to my next adventures, with the planning almost complete for my Japanese trip, I found disturbingly that Sri Lankan Airlines has increased the price of their business fares from 800 to around £2,800, occasionally just under 2,000. I can only say that this is to increase their profit margins with the loss of a substantial amount of their fleets as they restructure and try to get back into a financially secure position. For me, this causes a lot of issues. So it means that I'm going to end up backtracking a bit and now going via Doha to Jakarta and back rather than stopping via Colombo. But there will be another two trips being added into the schedule. One for Austria, St. Anton at Kitzbühel and Ski Welt in December, and a US trip probably with Grand Targhee in just over the mountain from Jackson Hole, and a day or two at Jackson Hole, as well as a trip to Juneau, to that local ski hill, which is meant to be very interesting when it comes to the powder and has produced a number of Olympians for the US ski team at this hidden but challenging resort. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you again next time.